SVOD, AVOD, OTT, streaming platforms, connected televisions? How about we just call it TV? Welcome to Fast Studios. We plug consumers and advertisers into world-famous sports and entertainment brands.
Get up on your feet, race fans.
Racing America, custom built to serve 75 million NASCAR fans with live racing, news.
That was the coolest thing I think I've ever seen.
And more.
I grew up loving watching racing.
Spartan TV, over 40 global markets, 15 million affluent athletes. The channel to champion the unbreakable lifestyle.
You want it, you gotta go out and take it.
And our biggest endeavor yet, the Women's Sports Network. Over 14 leagues and partners with the world's greatest female athletes, all in one place.
Hi, I'm Chloe Kim.
I'm Sophia Papa.
I'm Ellie Bastinelli from Athletes Unlimited.
And you're watching the Women's Sports Network.
Finally, a network for me.
This is Fast Studios. Cord cutters plug in here.
Presenting for Fast Studios is CEO Stuart McLean.
Well, good afternoon and welcome everyone to this inaugural OTT.X upfronts. I still call them the upfronts. We've already had a really fun day today. It was nice to see our friends from Vizio and thank you, and Vizio and Zumo, as well as our friends at Amagi and there's a chuckling, and Horizon Media here. Anyway, it takes a village. And we're all here because we're in a growth area of OTT. We're seeing the explosion of streaming media today, and we at Fast Studios are working hard to meet this incredible consumer demand. We started Fast Studios with a pretty simple idea: create new streaming TV brands with great content, and just as importantly, great partnerships with distributors, technology companies, and you, the advertisers. And you will hear from a lot of folks over the next 2 days on the stats and the figures of why you should spend more money in OTT. And we agree with all of that. But I wanted to take a moment to reflect on everybody who's sitting in this room and watching online today. Because everyone who's participating in this event is creating the future of OTT. Because despite of all the noise in the media space, and it sure can get confusing with the disruption, the technology, the consumer behavior, and the consolidation, there's always been one constant. It's you, the advertiser, that pushes everything forward. It's advertising that pioneers new technologies. It's advertising that enables new media pathways, and it's advertising that creates better consumer experiences. And we know from history that the brands that get in early reap the rewards, and it's gratifying to be part of seeing history repeat itself today. And it's especially fun for me because my roots are in advertising. I spent the first part of my career at the creative agencies at WPP Group, and then I went on to work for a lot of great brands. This is me about 10 years ago. My team made me put this shot up there. I'm thinking about changing my headshot back to that, but I put that up there because I used to sit in your chair at the upfronts, looking for opportunities to connect more deeply with consumers and create more impact with advertising messages. And that's what we're investing in at Fast Studios. Deliver on those key ingredients that make your brands even more successful. Great content, great branded content that connects with consumers. So on behalf of our team at Fast Studios, a big thank you to the team at OTT.X for pulling this whole event together. It's just incredible. I'm sure today will be the first of many as what we're calling streaming TV just becomes what it is. It's TV. So let's get into it. As you saw in our opening video, we like to say we at Fast Studios plug consumers into world-famous sports and entertainment brands. And we chose sports first, and this is a graphic that Evan Shapiro did. I don't know if you guys follow Evan Shapiro, but you should. He does these incredible media maps. And we really like him because he put our race car there in first place in sports. But why did we choose sports when we launched the studio? We chose sports because sports brings communities together. Sports creates impact. And our sports brands are designed to give you access to bring the advertiser closer to the action, closer to the athletes, and closer to the fans who cheer them on. From Racing America, our partnership with the NASCAR Cup team owners, including the very biggest names in NASCAR, Penske, Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, Stewart-Haas Racing, 2311 Racing, they are all here. To Spartan TV, a global sports brand in 45 markets that represents the unbreakable lifestyle. To our most ambitious effort yet, the Women's Sports Network, where for the first time, more than a dozen professional women's sports leagues and federations have come together to finally answer the call sports fans have been demanding to see more of these great athletes. From golf, basketball, surfing, skiing, snowboard, hockey, softball, lacrosse, volleyball, skateboarding, it's all here, it's all in one place for the first time ever, and we cannot wait to show it to you today. So let's kick it off. We will introduce you today to some of our talent, both behind the camera and in front of the camera, and we'll start it off with Spartan TV. So like the TV business as a whole, Spartan TV is about grit and doing what it takes to win in a very competitive field. Spartan is a global brand, as I said earlier, 45 countries and counting, so it's only fitting for them to have a 24/7 streaming network. And we've gone beyond their world championship races to create cooking shows, morning workout shows, and acquired the best documentaries of the most famous endurance athletes from around the world. And coming to us, special guest from Global HQ at Spartan Races, please welcome Joe DeCina.
Here's the deal. Over 10 million people have done a Spartan or Tough Mudder event, and when they're not racing, guess what they're doing? They're checking out Spartan TV, right? They're checking out Unbreakable CEO. They're looking at some of the races, maybe Spartan Games, and tons of other content that we've got on Spartan TV. We're in 45 plus countries, 10 million plus Spartans that have graduated. They're about 33, 34 years old, 60% male, 40% female, about $135,000 household income. And they just want to change their life. They just want to get after it. Sponsors recognize this. You've got Mike's Hard, Lemonade, Fit Aid, Titan Fitness, the Air Force. They all come in from around the world because somebody who's mentally and physically fit is probably also financially fit and making good decisions. So if your audience wants to tap into this resilient, passionate, dedicated audience, it's really simple. Partner with us on Spartan TV, and you've got access to the whole world of Spartans. Over and out.
Thank you, Joe. You're a true original. I'm going to check my Apple Watch. I think I'm up to about 4,000 steps today, so maybe I'll be ready for a Spartan race any day now. Our next network is Racing America, the 24/7 home for grassroots racing in partnership with 14 NASCAR Cup teams that make up the Race Team Alliance. And we don't have to tell everyone in this room that NASCAR has America under its spell with its 75 million fans. This channel just launched in time for the 2022 seasons. We have 15 hours of live racing every week, plus news like the Bull Ring, talk with Off the Record and the Derek P. Show, and NASCAR Cup team content like the Penske Games, Next Gen Race to Daytona, and Hendrick Engine Building Showdown, all never before seen on TV. And this summer, you can see live racing every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Racing America. Our viewing data shows us that fans consider this appointment TV because our audience spikes just as the races start, which is a relatively new phenomenon in OTT. But don't take my word for it. Let's have a look at Racing America.
Bring us out, and we are underway. Checkered flag here.
It's gotta be the wildest ride in the world.
We've not heard anything like that before.
You're racing with the best of the best.
Well, we've seen wheels that don't go on.
Today he started off the season in dominating fashion.
You see something so different.
You drive a lot better than you get in the car.
Failure didn't work. I bet on myself.
We crashed everything in Daytona this weekend.
This is going to be pretty fun. I hope you're ready.
We love Racing America, really giving the fans access to all the drivers in the action. And now, before we introduce the Women's Sports Network, which is our biggest venture to date, you heard me mention earlier that FAST does custom content and helps advertisers explore new ground. And I want to take one more minute to speak about how we're working with some of our brand partners. We're very proud of the fact that both Spartan TV and Racing America launched with presenting brand sponsors, the Air Force and DoorDash. These brands came in pre-launch because they were adventurous enough to want to get to know the modern OTT consumer. And we at Fast Studios were able to deliver everything that you would expect. Naming rights, sponsored show segments, in-show branding, all delivered at scale with guaranteed impressions and viewing data from across all of our distributors of who is watching what and when. This is the future we've all been waiting for. The combination of custom content, guaranteed reach, and audience data. Basically, we're offering all the things you remember from cable TV, plus actionable data and insights to make your campaigns that much more attributable and impactful. So a special thanks to our partners at the Air Force and DoorDash who took that leap of faith with these two new channels. We're happy that we are continuing to work with them, and we're really excited to bring these opportunities to all of you. And we called Fast Studios a studio for a reason. We have the very best production talent working here, each with a shelf full of Emmy Awards. And when they're not creating originals for our channels, they're working with our advertising partners to create great branded programming and custom content. The combination of best-in-class producers with our league and athlete partners will get your brand on the playing field and inside the ropes. So come and play with us. We all know brands have great stories to tell, and our team here at Fast Studios will bring those stories to life, whether it's a docuseries, an original, short-form custom commercial, it's all there for you, with built-in distribution, both on network and off, and of course, we bring it full circle. Anything we produce for our brand partners, we give it right back so that our brands can distribute across their channels and their social as well. This, after just 1 year in the marketplace. We are way out in front, and it's only going to get better. And there's no better opportunity coming to market in 2022 than the Women's Sports Network, which now moves us into our second half of our presentation. So I'll be back in a few minutes, but for now, I'd like to go ahead and hand the mic to our next host. You'll be seeing her on our World Surf League content and series. Please welcome the incredibly brave, incredibly accomplished South African professional surfer turned broadcaster and good friend of Fast Studios, Rosie Hodge.
Thank you, Stuart. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and to be a part of the Women's Sports Network family. When I heard that Fast Studios was building the first ever dedicated women's sports channel, I had a thought. How has someone not already done this? How is it 2022 and we're only just now getting a dedicated women's sports network? Well, next month is the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of the next chapter in this story. Now that I'm off the competitive circuit, I'm staying involved in the sport that has given me so much by doing color commentary and sideline announcing for the World Surf League. And right now, it is my true honor to introduce to you the Women's Sports Network. Please roll the tape.
Right now, there's a gap in the marketplace. Female athletes comprise 40% of all participants in sports, yet they only receive 4% of media coverage. That changes now. Introducing the Women's Sports Network. The Women's Sports Network brings together over 14 leagues and partners. with the very best athletes, telling their stories live on the field.
Give her some respect.
And off the field in a new streaming channel built for purpose and impact.
We black women, we used to people trying to tell us to shut up. We don't care.
All leading up to Fast Studios' biggest programming investment yet. Game On, the first ever live daily studio show dedicated entirely to women's sports. Now is the time.
This is Christina Kim.
This is Tori Dover. This is Deja McClendon from Athletes Unlimited.
And I'm ready. I can't wait
For the Women's Sports Network.
the Women's Sports Network.
You're watching the Women's Sports Network.
All the best women's sports, all in one place for the first time ever. The Women's Sports Network, June 20th. We all win.
And now I think it's time to welcome to the stage a very special guest and an honest-to-God legend in her own time, a 30-year veteran of ESPN, a Women's Basketball Hall of Fame inductee, and the woman who is most directly responsible for nearly every minute of women's sports coverage that has ever appeared on ESPN. Our friend, mentor, and Fast Studios advisory board member, Carol Stiff.
If you could keep that up, okay. The basketball shot, where is it? Okay, check out the ball. That ball was the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta when the USA won the gold. Each team member and all the staff on that team signed that ball, and then my two kids decided to go play pickup outside. So the moral of the story is hide the good stuff. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
Well, Carol, thank you so much for being here. I know you've waited a long time for this. For me, as a former professional surfer, I think about what this network would mean to me growing up and through my professional career, and I'm just so thrilled to see it come to life. Why is now the right time for the Women's Sports Network?
Well, before, if you don't mind, before I answer your question, I want to just mention how excited I am to be here with all of you today. We're only 1 month away from launching a women's sports network, so thank you for this time. You know, number two, I mean, I have advocated for women's sports my entire career. I often battled the traditional thinkers that thought women's sports was less than or not equal to, and no longer is the case. So to answer your question, why now? My answer is, it's about time. And I know if you place women's sports in the right windows, men and women will watch. And the ratings are the proof that you need. And I'll give you just a few examples. The WNBA last year up double figures. The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship game and national championship games up double figures. Serena Williams, US Open, hello, often outrates the men's US Open. And then right now, this week, NCAA softball's going on. There's a team right around the corner named UCLA that just advanced into the super regionals and will be playing down the street this weekend. If you're in town, I'd go check it out if I were you. So my point being that if you build it, they will come. And Fast Studios is building it, and we're going to build it together. And it's just so long overdue for these athletes to have this opportunity to be seen, not only for themselves, but for their families and us, the fans. So now's the time.
I agree, Carol. I mean, just to have this platform to showcase these amazing humans, to watch women's sports in real time, and to really be invested in these athlete stories, it's incredible. And when we think about the historical timeline, to you, how momentous is the launch of the Women's Sports Network?
It's very important, and I have a great antidote to that question. Back in December of this past year, I had an opportunity to be with Billie Jean King, and we were interviewing for a documentary surrounding Title IX coming up in June. And during one of the breaks, I took a second to whisper into her ear, because we had not announced the Women's Sports Network. You know how that is with the media. So I said, Billy, confidentially, I need to tell you something. And she said, what's that, Carol? And I said, we're launching a Women's Sports Network. And she threw her hands up, double fist pump, and threw her head back, and she said, amen, alleluia, and about time. And it reminded me of, some people in this room might remember the Battle of the Sexes about 49 years ago. And she did exactly the same thing. Remember, she threw her racket up, she double fisted, and then she went and shook hands with Bobby. And to see that reaction in December meant so much to her, it meant so much to me, but it's gotta mean the same to all of you here today. And I know this is the best, story that I could tell you, but I do have one more, and that has to do with USA Soccer. USA Soccer last week, what did they do? They came up with this great idea to pay the men and the women the same wages. Wow. That took way too long to get that W, I might add. So we'll take it, though. A W is a W. And I'm going to just borrow a legend. Bob Dylan once sang, or still sings, the changes are coming, and they're here. And although I might say Joan Baez does the same version of that song, and I kind of like hers better, but to each their own.
Well, there's a lot to be said for the amazing women that have paved the way, done the hard yards to win these battles for women's sports and bring this to fruition. It must be so rewarding seeing this come to life. What has the process been like building the Women's Sports Network, and what are you most looking forward to?
Ooh, wow, that's a loaded question. To me, it's a dream come true, and the dream started with the opportunity to put together an advisory board, and I'm the chair of the advisory board. And if we could just show the headshots of those that are on the board, that would be great. These people are going to advise us at the Women's Sports Network. They're going to make sure that we do things right, we stay on point, and we do exactly what we want to do, that is raising the profile of women's sports, raising the visibility of women's sports. And with that, I know that we will succeed. And along the way, we will build a brand, we will build trust, and we will succeed. So I know that they say, what, rising tides lifts all boats. Well, I know with this group behind me that they're part of our team, I'm part of their team, and I'm thrilled to be part of this. And I know that if we have their vision and their expertise, that we are going to do things right. And we are going to showcase women athletes. We're going to showcase the sports they play, surfing. We're also going to showcase the leagues. And this coverage is massive, and it's long overdue.
Well, it's amazing to see a passionate, accomplished group of women come together. And to me, most importantly, they can walk the talk. And lastly, Carol, with so much original content slated for the Women's Sports Network, which piece of programming are you most looking forward to airing?
Hold on, folks. Hold on. I am so excited that we are going to be bringing you and all the fans of women's sports a daily live studio show called Game On. So, Game On, highlights of women's sports. No longer do I have to hold my breath on the sofa at my home and just pray that we show the highlight of a WNBA game where we had 2 overtimes, 3 dunks, and 2 turnovers, and not see it because we had to cut the show to make time to get on to the next show. No longer is that going to happen with Game On. So bring it on.
It's long overdue, and so looking forward to that. And Carol, thank you so much for being here today, and also thank you for the hard work, the dedication that you've done on behalf of female athletes and women's sports.
Oh, geez, thanks, Rosie. I appreciate that. But before we leave the stage, I want to give you all a sneak preview and a tease of what Game On is all about. So here you go. I'll see you after the show, I guess.
Thank you so much, Carol and Rosie. Hi, I'm LaChina Robinson, host and basketball analyst, and today I have the pleasure of giving you an exclusive sneak peek into the Women's Sports Network's signature show, Game On. Game On is the first of its kind live studio show dedicated entirely to women's sports. Yes, there will be stats, there will be highlights, but we will also be interviewing the badass women of sports themselves. Sitting right in our fourth chair, we will talk to some of the biggest, brightest personalities in entertainment and in sport for the content and stories that you will not want to miss. You know what? We actually have an example of what this will look like. Check out this interview with Asia Wilson. Hey, Asia.
Hi.
Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Yes.
Well, we're in Vegas, and it's hard to believe it's been, 5 short seasons since this team arrived here,
yes.
and the fans are already WNBA crazy. How does it feel to know that the city has embraced this team the way it has?
It's a great feeling, honestly, and I mean, I have to credit just the people that are behind the scenes that help put on the show for people to come and enjoy it. It's been incredible to watch us form and build a fan base here in Vegas, like seeing our pictures on the marquee, on the strip. But when we have fans coming here and they're wearing our jerseys, it's really incredible to watch.
You know, obviously women's sports are on the rise. Yeah. Where do you see the landscape of women's sports today?
Oh my gosh, the growth of just how I've just been at the professional level has been incredible just to watch across the board. Like, I found myself tuning into tennis. Like, I would have never watched tennis before, but I'm tuned into it because I'm like, I want to watch us grow. I want it, like, they put in so much work to be to where they are. It just opens my mind, and I love that. And I think women's sport, it helps expand the mind of the viewer.
Yes.
Because you want to dig a little deeper to figure out who is she? She's a sister, she's a mother, she's a daughter. And I think that's the beauty of our sport, is that we can channel in those different things to pull those heartstrings of the viewers. So I'm excited for it to expand, and I'm glad that I can be a part of it.
If there is someone who's saying, what can I do to support women's sport? What is it that I can do to help move the needle?
Don't just talk the talk, but walk it. Like, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to check you all out, this, that, and the third. It's like, actually do it. This league is, 26, 25 years old? That is young. But invest and trust it and know that we're growing and we're building, because we know what we're all capable of. And watch it grow, watch it flourish. Like, it's like a plant. You know, water it every day, love on it, and respect us.
Asia, I can say this. I mean, the future of not just the WNBA, but in women's sports is in good hands with you and who you are as a person. So just keep being Asia. And she didn't even know any of these questions. Like, she's just such a natural at this. She'll be over here doing my job one day whenever she hangs up her tennis shoes.
You're crushing it, LaChina, no.
But thank you so much, Asia. We appreciate you taking the time to join us. Wow, isn't Asia Wilson incredible? That's just an example of what we hope to bring you with Game On and these interviews with tremendous athletes. And I just want to take this time before I send it back to thank you in advance for your support of this network, of amazing athletes like Asia, of this movement. And I know that I speak on behalf of our incredible advisory board when I say now is the time to invest in women's sports. Back to you, Carol and Rosie.
So our last order of business today, I want to talk about one more partnership that we're really excited about. Part of the founding vision of the Women's Sports Network is to be more than just a media brand, but a force for positive change in the world of sports. And one of our collaborators and good friends who has made a serious impact on the sports landscape through her career, which includes, amongst other things, being deputy mayor of Los Angeles, an executive with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and now president of LA 84, the Legacy Foundation of the 1984 Olympics. I'd like to invite Renata Simmerl up to the stage. Is that on? Here,
there we go. Good afternoon. Stuart, thank you. I am super excited. I was excited before I came, but I'm super excited now. As a consumer of women's sports, a season ticket holder for the LA Sparks and the Angel City Football Club, you know, I'm super excited to be in partner with the Women's Sports Network. We know sport to be foundational to youth development. And to creating pathways and lifelong well-being for young people, but it's especially important to the work that we do for those communities who don't have access. And this partnership with our 2,000 organizations that we work with, from Santa Barbara to San Diego County, the 100,000 kids that we serve on an annual basis, is going to be a tremendous inspiration to those young people, but especially young women, and dare I say young boys, because I am the mother of 2 boys, to really see what is possible, to see those opportunities. And as Carol said, this Women's Sports Network is long overdue. There are thousands of kids, hundreds of thousands of kids across this country who don't see people who look like them on the screen. They don't see the diversity of sports that they can engage in, like soccer and like lacrosse, like the Spartan Games. And we fund 50 different sport opportunities. And so I'm super excited and hopeful that this partnership that we're launching today is going to inspire those young people to see what's possible and to strive for the best that they can be. So Stuart, I'm super excited, but if you don't believe what I'm talking about, check out this video to see the impact that we've had so far, that we're gonna multiply and scale through this partnership with the Women's Sports Network.
Sport has the power to change the world, the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It speaks to youth in a language they understand. Sports provides youth the opportunity to see beyond their limits. Play equity means that the dreams of our youth must not be determined by their zip code. For us, play is a basic human right. It builds confidence and character. It inspires teamwork and respect. And all of our youth, all of our kids deserve equal access.
You know, Renata has dedicated her career to raising awareness of the inequalities in sport, and we are just so thrilled, Renata, to have your support here at the Women's Sports Network, as well as borrowing your brain on our advisory board. So it really does take a village, and I think everyone can tell that the Women's Sports Network is backed by some truly passionate people who are committed to the mainstream success of women's sports. And hopefully what you've seen today has you excited about the opportunities and how you can partner with all of our networks when you're thinking through your upcoming campaigns. At Fast Studios, you can think of us as a one-stop shop where you can reach cord cutters at scale across Tier 1 platforms with fully integrated branded content, all executed by Emmy Award-winning producers that put your brands right in the middle of the action. And we are open for business, and we are ready to earn yours. So please, feel free to grab anyone from Fast Studios after the break. So thank you so much to Rosie Hodge, Joe DeCina. I forgot to mention, by the way, for your surfing fans, we also have Sage Erickson, our US Open champion surfer, here in the audience with us today. Our friends at the Race Team Alliance, LaChina Robinson, Carol Stiff, Renata Simrell, and everyone here at OTT.X for bringing everybody together. Thank you so much for your time today.